The 30-Year Lie, Brené Brown, on why your 20s feel like failure. If you are between 20 and 30 years old, waking up every day with that suffocating feeling of being behind in life is likely your normal. You look around and it seems like everyone has already figured out the way. Some are in high positions, others have started profitable businesses, some are married, others live alone in an Airbnb aesthetic apartment. They travel the world, post smiling photos, maintain a productive routine, an active social life. And you are there, paralyzed, trying to convince yourself that there's still time. But deep down, you feel that you are failing. It's not that things are objectively bad, it's that you feel you are the problem, as if there's something wrong with you that prevents you from keeping up with others. Maybe no one knows this. Maybe on the outside you pretend well, but inside the comparison has turned into torture. Every scroll on Instagram is a stab. Every news of an acquaintance succeeding feels like a cruel reminder that you are falling behind. And the worst part, everyone keeps telling you that your 20s are the decisive decade, the time to build everything, and you don't even know where to start. If you feel this way, this video is for you. And I'm going to tell you something that perhaps no one has the courage to say. You are not a failure. You are living under the weight of absurd expectations imposed by a society that profits from your insecurity. You think you are failing in life when in fact you are being crushed by a script that was never yours. You were taught that by the age of 30 you need to have career success, a perfect body, a stable relationship, a healthy mind, amazing friends, solid finances, and time to travel the world. But no one told you that this standard is a carefully constructed illusion to keep you always trying to reach something that never arrives. Because the more you feel that something is missing, the more you consume. More courses, more miracle therapies, more promises of productivity, more comparisons, more products to fill internal voids. You are not broken. You are reacting to a sick system. Today, we are going to expose this system. We are going to unmask the lies they told you about success, failure, and time. You will understand why you feel this way. And more than that, you will discover how to start freeing yourself. This video will not offer you shortcuts. It will offer you something much more valuable: clarity. The chance to see your life with different eyes. Not the eyes of someone trying to fit into someone else's script, but the eyes of someone who is ready to write their own story. The script designed for failure. From an early age, you were taught that there is a right path to follow, an almost sacred sequence of achievements that validate your existence. Choose the right university, land the right internship, build a promising career, find the love of your life, take care of your body, your mental health, be productive, always be happy. Ideally, all of this before turning 30, but stop and think. Who decided that this is success? Who said this is the right time, the right order, the right life? The truth is uncomfortable. This script was not made for you. It was made against you. You live in a society that needs to keep you in a constant state of dissatisfaction because satisfied people don't buy. Self-assured people don't desperately follow influencers. Peaceful people don't drown in high-performance courses, mindset mentors, or productivity gurus. People who know their own worth don't need to prove anything to anyone. This script was designed for you to fail. And when you fail, you feel guilty. When you feel guilty, you seek to fix yourself. And it is at this exact moment that the system profits, selling cures for the problems it itself manufactured. Brené Brown, a researcher of vulnerability and shame, analyzed thousands of interviews with people in their 20s and 30s. What she found was alarming. Never has there been a generation so pressured, so anxious, so convinced that they are failing simply for not meeting standards that no one ever truly meets. According to her, this is not a crisis of character. It is a logical response to a system designed to make you feel less capable, less beautiful, less worthy, less enough. These standards are not neutral. They are weapons. They are tools of control. Because as long as you are trying to be enough, you will be obedient. You will follow the script without questioning. You will believe that your pain is your fault. And you will never realize that it is a symptom of a system that taught you to hate yourself. Hustling for worthiness, the comparison machine. You don't feel like a failure because your life is objectively worse than others. You feel this way because you are bombarded daily with idealized and carefully edited versions of other people's reality. You are not comparing yourself to real people. You are comparing yourself to showcases. Think about what happens when you open Instagram. You see someone launching a startup at 23, someone traveling through Asia at 25, someone getting married at a cinematic sunset at 27. You see sculpted bodies, perfect routines, stacked professional achievements. And your brain, conditioned to seek belonging and validation, interprets all of this as proof that you are behind. But what don't you see? You don't see that the startup went bankrupt 6 months later, that the trips were financed by unpayable debts, that the couple from the perfect ceremony can barely talk without fighting. You are comparing your behind the scenes with all the mess, doubt, and chaos to someone's best angle of life. And this is not by chance. Social media are platforms for comparison on an industrial scale. Every like, every comment, every algorithm is carefully calibrated to stimulate your neediness. The more inadequate you feel, the more time you spend scrolling. The more time you scroll, the more you consume, the more you desire, the more you buy. Brené Brown calls this hustling for worthiness, the desperate attempt to prove your value through external achievements. And it's never enough because the model is designed for you to never feel sufficient. When you think you've arrived, you see someone who has gone even further, faster, with more likes. This cycle is insidious. And the cruelest part is that it disguises itself as inspiration. You are led to believe that these images motivate you, but what they really do is erode your self-esteem while you smile and applaud. This is not motivation. It's psychological torture wrapped in aesthetics. If you feel like you're always behind, always owing, always failing, maybe the problem isn't you. Maybe it's the standard you're using to measure your life. The culture of never enough, reclaiming your narrative. Now, let's make something very clear. You are not failing. You are trying to survive in a system designed to make you feel inadequate. The pain you feel is the absolutely logical response of a healthy mind exposed to toxic expectations. You have been conditioned to believe that your worth lies in achievements, in external validations, in performance, in productivity. Gradually, the world teaches you that love is conditional on success, that you will only be accepted if you are admired. Brené Brown calls this the culture of never enough. Never pretty enough, never productive enough, never successful enough. And the result is an army of young adults in a constant state of alert, desperately trying to fit into an impossible mold. But here is the truth no one told you. That mold is not real. It is an artificial construct fueled by economic interests and sustained by comparison, fear, and shame. You think you are failing because your desire has been hijacked, because you have spent your life chasing goals that weren't even yours. How many of your dreams are truly yours? How many were inherited from your family or culture? How many times have you felt inadequate for not achieving something that deep down you didn't even want? The first step to freeing yourself is to do what Brown calls curating your own values. Stop and ask, is this important to me? Or have I been conditioned to think it is? When you start asking these questions, you regain control of your own narrative. You stop living to please. You stop measuring your life by others' standards. You stop chasing external approval. And gradually you begin to feel something rare in this world: peace. But there is still a silent poison that keeps you trapped: the addiction to comparison. And if you really want to break free, you will need a radical step. It's time for a detox, the 30-day comparison. Reset your digital rebellion. Do you really want to start changing your life? Then get ready, because I'm going to ask you for something that may seem absurd, but can completely transform your perception of yourself. Stop comparing yourself. You wake up and immediately grab your phone. Before you even brush your teeth, you've seen someone achieving more than you, while you still don't even know if you can get out of bed. And this bombardment is not accidental. Social media is designed for this. Every like, every algorithm, every content suggestion is carefully calibrated to provoke an emotional response: desire, envy, a sense of lag, inadequacy. The more incomplete you feel, the more time you spend scrolling, and the more you feed a system that profits from your pain. The brutal truth is this: you are addicted to comparing yourself, and this is slowly eroding your self-esteem day by day. This is self-annihilation disguised as inspiration. That's why what I'm proposing here is a rite of passage. Execute a 30-day comparison reset. It's not half-hearted. It's not just deleting the app for 2 days. It's a real cut, a radical silence, a break from the cycle of digital self-flagellation. During these 30 days, you will feel strange. You will feel withdrawal. Withdrawal from dopamine, from stimulation, from distraction. You have been conditioned to believe that you need to know all the time how everyone else's life is going. But the truth is that this only serves to disconnect you from the only life you can truly live, your own. And it is in this silence, in this uncomfortable void that arises when the noise is turned off, that you begin to hear your own voice. You start to ask yourself, what do I really want? What makes sense to me? This detox is an act of courage. It is you refusing to be manipulated. It is you rebelling against a system that wants you insecure. It is you reclaiming mental, emotional, and spiritual space to start building something true. Once the noise quiets, you are ready for the next step: connecting with your own definition of success. Defining quiet success, the true revolution. Now that the noise of the world has been silenced, you have before you the chance to redefine what it means to win. How many of the goals you pressure yourself with daily were chosen with awareness and freedom? How many of your dreams are in fact borrowed desires from culture, family, and social standards? Brené Brown challenges us to ask a brutal and transformative question. If I completely ignored all external expectations, what would a well-lived life look like for me? You might discover that you don't want to be a CEO, but rather have a simple life with time to breathe. You might realize that you don't want to get married before 30 because you are still discovering yourself. Perhaps success for you is being able to walk at 10 a.m. without guilt. Maybe it's sleeping in peace. When you start to dig beneath the layers of obligation and expectation, you find authentic values. And from there, you begin to build your own map. This is the definition of quiet success. While the world shouts, achieve more, produce more, accumulate more, you start to hear a different voice. Live with presence, with intention, with truth. This is the true revolution. It's not just rebelling against the external system. It's freeing yourself from the system you internalized. Redefining success is an act of radical self-awareness. It's looking at yourself and having the courage to say, I choose differently. And this choice will not be applauded by everyone. It will disturb. It will provoke. It will leave you alone at times. But it will also give you something that no ready-made script can offer: integrity. You begin to live a life that makes sense, not because it is the most impressive, but because it is yours. Embracing imperfection, the gift of failure. Even after redefining your values, you will still fail. You will still stumble. You will still make mistakes, because living outside the imposed script is a path of trial and error. And that's okay. It's time to face a truth that can free you from years of guilt. You don't need to have your whole life figured out before turning 30. This is not the decade of having everything resolved. This is the decade of experimenting, of failing, of starting over and failing again. But no one told you that. On the contrary, you were sold the idea that your 20s are the decisive decade. The subtext is clear. If you don't reach 30 with the perfect life, you have failed. But this is a dangerous lie. It was created to paralyze you. Because when you believe you can't fail, you become obedient. You stop taking risks. You stop exploring. You start choosing the safe path, not the true path. Brené Brown discovered that the most fulfilled people she interviewed did not have a linear journey. On the contrary, they failed a lot and early because they were experimenting. Failure in this context is not the end. It is the elimination of paths that are not yours. It is information. It is feedback. It is refinement. Every time you fail, you discover something about yourself that you wouldn't have discovered if you were too busy trying to appear perfect. Look what happens to those who follow the right script too closely. Many reach 40 with a perfect life on the outside, but completely empty on the inside. They collapse because they realize they built someone else's life, not their own. So listen carefully. You have decades ahead of you. You can change careers at 35. You can find yourself at 40. You can love again at 50. There is no fixed timeline. The only real failure is living your whole life trying to fit into a mold that suffocates you. You are not a failure. You are a human being in process. And in that process, failing is not just allowed, it is essential. If this video made you rethink something, if any part touched you deeply, comment here. Tell me which part confronted you the most. Your story can help others who are also feeling lost.